And now to campaign 2020. The race for the White House is heating up again.
Democratic frontrunner Joe Biden held his first campaign rally since officially becoming a presidential candidate for the third time. KCAL9 political reporter Dave Bryan has more on Biden's latest quest for the Oval Office. Dave?
Yeah, this could be, if it winds up being a Biden versus Trump sort of contest, it could be one of the toughest presidential campaigns we've ever seen. He's leading in most of the early Democratic polls, and today former Vice President Joe Biden demonstrated his strategy for defeating President Trump. Appeal to the very working-class blue-collar families that put Trump into office, and now maybe having second thoughts. And some Republicans, including the president, may be concerned. In what could be a preview of the bitter presidential campaign battle ahead, former Vice President Joe Biden held his first 2020 campaign rally in his home state of Pennsylvania, a must-win state for the Democrats to have a chance of defeating President Trump.
Quite frankly, folks, if I'm going to be able to beat Donald Trump in 2020, it's going to happen here.
Biden wasted no time in taking direct aim at the president in framing what he says is the choice between him and Mr. Trump.
Everybody knows who Donald Trump is. And I believe and hope they know who we are. We have to choose hope over fear, unity over division, and maybe most importantly, truth over lies.
It was no coincidence that Biden was focusing his appeal on President Trump's base, blue-collar union workers who deserted the Hillary Clinton Democrats and voted instead for Donald Trump in 2016. And it appears to have won over at least the International Association of Firefighters, which has now endorsed Biden.
We stand with Joe Biden.
That did not go over well with President Trump, who blasted the union representing the first responders he purports to love. He tweeted, "The dues-sucking firefighters' leadership will always support Democrats, even though the membership wants me. Some things never change." Firefighters' union members at the rally were not defending the president either.
He has done nothing for the union, and Joe Biden has done multiple things for the union.
And Biden also fired back at President Trump's tweet attacks. "I'm sick of this president bad-mouthing unions." In fact, it appears Biden's already getting under President Trump's skin. The president firing off at least 4 tweets on Monday, ridiculing and belittling Biden, calling him Sleepy Joe Biden. And as CNN reported, Mr. Trump began his attacks even before Biden officially entered the race last week.
How do you beat Biden? How do you do it? I would say easily.
I don't know what the hell happened to Biden. I don't know. It just doesn't look like the same Biden. I said, is that really Joe Biden? He doesn't look the same to me. When you look at Joe, I've known Joe over the years. He's not the brightest light bulb in the group.
California Congressman John Garamendi told CNN Biden has a strong strategy to go after President Trump by questioning his soul and the soul of America. And the president's advisors, he says, are nervous about that.
I think he's going to be very, very strong. He's got a lot of experience. He knows America. He's campaigned throughout America. And frankly, he's prepared to be president, should it come to that.
But Republican Senator Lindsey Graham from South Carolina, a Trump ally, told CBS Face the Nation on Sunday that Biden, a moderate Democrat, may have a bigger problem with his own party than the Republicans.
Here's the problem for Joe. Does he fit into the Democratic Party of 2020? I don't know how he fits in this party, but I do know this. He's a good man, and he would be a strong candidate.
Now, tonight, there are also some signs that Joe Biden could be the Democrat with the best chance of beating Trump. The most recent poll by The Hill showed Biden with a 6-point lead over President Trump among registered voters nationwide. And perhaps even more surprising, a new poll by Emerson College says that Biden is leading Trump by 1 point in the deep red state of Texas. Juan, back to you.
All right, Dave.